Alright guys, welcome back. Another video. It's just me today. Marie's gone on the bus. She's feeling a bit crook, a bit nauseous, doesn't want to sail today. Fair enough. And gives me a good opportunity to sail solo. You guys all know I love doing that. Bit of different kettle of fish today with the catamaran. Haven't sailed this solo or ever sailed catamaran solo. But it's only a short leg. It's about 45-50 miles from Bermagui, here I am now, up to Batemans Bay. It's going to be, yeah, I think sort of 12 to 15, 17 knots from the south, which is tailwind, so I'll probably just have one sail up, or maybe I'll put a main up, I don't know. Should be pretty cruisy, to be honest. And yeah, I guess the hardest thing with sailing solo is the leaving and the arriving. The actual sailing part's not that hard, although with the screecher on this boat, the bigger sail in the front there, you got to furl that and unfurl it and furl it from the front. That's normally a two-person job, so I'll have to see if I can do that by myself. But otherwise I'll just use the main and the jib and we should be fast enough like that. Anyway, I'm gonna, engines are running, everything's turned on. I'm gonna cast off the lines. No wind here, so it's pretty easy to leave. Just throw off the lines and off we go. There's a few fishing boats. It's Sunday today, and this seems to be in a crazy sport fishing place. This whole bay here is just full of these. Look at these boats. Just crazy sport fishermen. I think there's a lot of marlin and stuff being caught out here off the shelf, continental shelf. So yeah, there's a boat launching ramp over here, and it's only 7:30 in the morning, and there's bloody boats everywhere. But I should better weave my way amongst them. And we'll get out in the bay, and then I'll take the fenders and everything up when we get out there. But all right, let's do it. Beautiful. We're off. It's pretty narrow little entrance to this harbour, but it's pretty much high tide, so we should be all good. Let's get out of here. All right, I've got the mainsail up. Sorry I didn't film that, but yeah, a little bit hectic by myself, but all good. I got one reef, and yeah, we should be good. I'm being conservative. I could have had the whole sail. It's only 9 knots on the beam, as you can see. Yeah, all good. We'll see. I can easily let that out. The first reef is anyway quite small on this boat, so on this sail. So yeah, I'm going to turn the engines off now, put out the jib, and we'll see what we can do. Should be able to cruise along 6-7 knots like this. Let's go. The reason I put them in reverse for a few seconds is just to close the propellers. Otherwise they'll stay open and spin. So it just closes them, put them back in neutral. Obviously can leave them in reverse, but then next time if you start up the engines in a hurry and you forget about it, you're starting them up sort of full power in reverse, which isn't good. So yeah, neutral, and then she's ready to go for next time. All right, let's get this jib out. Well, we're doing 4.5 knots just with the main. I haven't even tweaked the main yet, but yeah, let's get the jib out. See, in this wind I'd probably be better off with the screecher in the main, just because we've only got 9 knots of true wind. Yeah, it's not a lot, but we're doing 6 now, so 6 and 9 knots of wind is, yeah, I can't really complain. I'd probably be doing 7 maybe with the screecher, but I'm pretty happy with that. Definitely conservative today. I hope you can hear this. Actually, there might be a bit of wind. I'm on the GoPro today because it's just easier when I'm by myself, but the sound is obviously not so good on the GoPro as it is on my big camera. But if not, I'll just do some voiceovers later. Anyway, we'll cruise along like this for a while and see how we go. All right, a few hours into this now, well, probably 2 hours into it. Pretty grey and grimy now. It's not squally or rainy, it's just sort of grey. Looks smoggy, but I'm sure it's not. As you can see, I'm wing on wing. Haven't done that before on this boat. Seems to be working all right. The mainsail is sort of so big on this boat that anything more than 120 degrees, the main just blocks the jib completely. So I was going a bit slow, and so then you're forced to either do more angles, like stay in 120, which might be way off course, or try and run straight downwind. Obviously the screecher would be better in this situation, but I'm just not going to do that today by myself. Maybe I can figure out a better method for that if I'm going to be sailing this boat on longer passages solo, maybe. Yeah, we'll see how we go. But anyway, we're doing all right. There's only 7.5 to 8.5 knots of wind, and we're doing 6.5, 7 knots, so it's fine. The autopilot seems to be holding us pretty much straight in the right direction, so yeah, it's all right. I've got the main right out wide, as you can see, and I've got the jib sort of barber hauled or preventer, I don't know. So there's the jib sheet, and then I've got a sheet on here holding the jib out wider, because if I just leave it on the jib tracks, it's actually really far in, and for downwind it's not really doing much. And this way, that's on the windward side, the jib, and if we're on a wave or something and the wind gets a bit behind the jib, it doesn't, like that barber haul line holds it out, like keeps it full. So anyway, we'll go like this for a little while, we'll see how we go. We're not exactly on course. Yeah, we should be a bit more north, but anyway, I'll go for an hour or so like this, get closer into the beach, and then I'll have a bit more angle the other way to do then better speeds, I guess. But I think the wind's probably going to change as we go into the afternoon. I think you always get a bit of an afternoon breeze, so yeah, maybe the angle changes anyway, so we'll see how we go. But yeah, I've just had a coffee and listening to podcast on the, we actually have a good stereo on this boat, so I'm just Bluetoothing from my phone, which I don't normally do because Marie doesn't really like my podcast, or like it's not interesting for her, so I don't put them through the stereo speakers, but I'm on my own today, so I can do that. I'm listening to Supercross, Pulp MX. I love motocross and Supercross, and these podcasts are about 4 or 5 hours long. They're basically reviews of every race every weekend in the US. But yeah, I love all this stuff. I'm a bit of a petrol head. I grew up riding motorbikes. I raced some motocross. Me and my brother had a rally car. We did hill climbs and rallies together. I had a Mazda RX-7 turbo that I souped up the engine myself, and go-karts and all. Yeah, I just grew up with all that sort of stuff. I love it. Worked in Formula 1 a little bit, and so yeah, as much as I like sailing and photography, which are my, I don't know, my other passions, motorsport is, yeah, huge passion of mine. So I get right into these, and yeah, when we're on passage, 4 or 5 hour podcasts, it's awesome. I get to a couple of them. Anyway, I'll get back to that. See you later. Little update. We're motor sailing now. You can probably hear the engine on. I've just got one engine on. Still got the mainsail up, but the wind is yeah, it's sort of behind now, and it's only 7 knots, and because we're going past these headlands, the swell is sort of bouncing back and it's swishing around, and so that yeah, we were just flapping and flogging, really not doing much at all. So I got the engine on, doing about 6 knots with the engine on, and we're about to turn into Batemans Bay. Well, Batemans Bay is this big huge bay, so I guess it's all Batemans Bay, but we're turning in there soon, and then it's about another 5 miles up there until we get to the town of Batemans Bay. I'll need to look on the maps to make sure I know what all this means, but I think it's all Batemans Bay, or it could just be the town. Anyway, you guys will probably let me know in the comments. Yeah, another hour and a half or something to go. The tide was low at 2 o'clock. There is a bit of a bar, not terrible one, I think, but so it's coming back in now, because it's about, yeah, it's 3:30 now. So by the time I get there, it'll be 4:30. Tide will be halfway in, and that's a pretty good time to cross any bar. And Marie arrived there a couple of hours ago by bus, and she's been walking around town and having fun, and I've got phone reception, so I talked to her before, and she's found a jetty where I can stop and pick her up. So we'll be back together again, and then we'll go and find an anchor spot, or maybe we'll just tie up on that jetty. It's a public jetty apparently. I don't know, we'll see. Maybe we'll just stay there the night. Anyway, I'll get back to you soon. All right, we're getting in pretty close now, coming into Batemans Bay. There's the town up in there. I've got to cross the bar across here somewhere. Time to turn on the other engine and spin around into the wind and drop this mainsail. Let's do it. Okay, I'll sort the rest out afterwards. Get back on course. This is why I always have the wind generator turned off when I'm reefing or dropping the sails. It's the third reefing line. If that wind generator had been going, it probably would have snapped a blade. Alright, let's get her spun around. So this is the bar crossing we're about to go over now. You can see here. And it gets very shallow. It's 2 hours after low, so it's about, you know, I couldn't have come in before this. But at LAT it's half a metre. So it's come in 40 centimetres, so it's slightly over a metre now. And it's, you know, it's a calm day, so that's good. But just from the depth point of view, I've got the dagger boards up, as you can see. But what I've done on both sides, I've opened the cassettes. You can see the rudders are up. And they're basically floating now. They're in buoyant cassettes. And so they're sort of floating. If they hit the bottom, they'll go up another 20, 30 centimetres. So I'm sort of, oh, I'm going off course a little bit. But I can still steer when they're up. It's not, apparently not very good for sailing, but for motoring it's fine. And I've just raised them up. I think I'll have enough water, but I've raised them up just in case. I've got 3.4 meters right now, and with these up I only need about 60 centimeters, I think, but it'll be pretty close. Probably an alarm will go off, we'll see. Right, so it just started to get shallow right now, 1.7. We're really on the shallow spot now, but we are lined up with the lead lines. 1.7 now, so I've still got a metre of leeway, 1.5. I'm going quite slow. I'm only doing 4 knots. I can probably slow down even a bit more. 1.8, so it's okay. I'll be getting into deeper water shortly. But see, in Schiehallion I couldn't have got in here. That needs, Schiehallion needed 2 meters, and you know, this is only 1.7, and I wouldn't like to take, you know, I'd need half a meter leeway with Schiehallion. If you have a wave and you come down on the sand, it puts the keel through the bottom of your boat. But this is a good thing with a catamaran. You can come in shallower places. So we're back up to 2.5 meters now, 2.6. So that was the shallow spot, I think. We're nearly in the channel. You got to come all the way into this rock wall. I'll show you up here as a green and a red, but you got to come all the way in. So up here is a green, and over on the rock wall is the red. Got to come all the way into there. But yeah, we're up to 3 meters again now, so I can speed up a bit more. And we should be good. Marie just called me before. She's waiting for me on the jetty.
Okay, I'm back on Trade Runner and I'm quite happy of it. It was quite a long day. I arrived by bus around 10 in Batemans Bay, and luckily the weather was good. But yeah, that was a long day in the sun and not doing much. Vernon was a bit longer than what I was expecting because the wind was not so strong. Yeah, I decided to take the bus. It can be a bit weird, but in general when we stay at anchorage for a long time, I'm losing a bit my sea legs. And the first little trip I was a bit sick, and as we are doing several trips in a short time, I was thinking that was good to have a break and not feeling seasick for a day. And also I didn't see much of Australia from inland, so that was a good occasion to watch around. Sadly, I'm a bit dumb, I didn't film any of the landscape. But yeah, I had a nice trip with the bus. I really felt in love with Tilba area, who was super beautiful. And yeah, now I'm super tired and I'm gonna have a good sleep, and I'm happy of that, and we should move normally tomorrow to Jervis Bay, depending. Now it's time to thank all of our patrons for all the support. It's awesome, guys. We really are so happy to have all of you with us. It's a really good adventure altogether. Also, thank you for watching this episode. It was back on solo sailing for Vernon. I hope you appreciate that sometimes, to not having me in his legs and have proper sailing. And I think the next video gonna be probably in between here and Cronulla, but as the weather is not so good, maybe we're gonna not film everything. Yeah, I hope to see you next week. Bye bye.